Talking with the Experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners, and you can find it on all good podcasting streams and on YouTube. And today my guest is BD Erikson II, and his business is Static Incorporated, and today we're going to be talking about organisational leadership. And BD is a proven leader and a team builder, successfully navigating an ever-changing high-tech business climate. Having business and science degrees combined with Anthony Robbins Mastery University and Leadership Academy, BD is well equipped to lead his team in the highly technical sector of clean, renewable energy. Welcome, BD. How are you today?
Thank you, Rose. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, over your two decades in leadership roles, what sorts of teams have you built?
So a vast group of individuals, because we work in manufacturing. So I need engineers and then people that can run teams of assemblers, but we don't have a given market for our product usually. So I need salespersons and then marketing people. And then, the admin roles, the people that, lick the stamps and get stuff shipped. And we're all on a bus, I feel, and we all are trying to go to the same destination. So each of us need to be bought in to the destination that we're trying to reach as a team.
Yep. So I understand that you have a solar company. How's that going over there?
We're the biggest solar company in Western Montana. It's going wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, very good. That's excellent news. All right. So tell me about what organisational leadership. Tell me your perspective on that.
So, organizational leadership specifically, in an organization where it's not necessarily two people or five people, it's a group of people. We have differing personalities, we have differing backgrounds, maybe some social or ethical background, different ways that we grew up, and different roles in the company. And so, maybe your personality type is a little bit different than mine. Maybe your skill set's a little bit different than mine, but you being the wonderful you that you are, me being the person that I am, and the skill sets that we have can enrich each other. So one of the things that I think makes work challenging for a lot of people. So starting from that point, actually, a lot of our time is spent at work. We don't wake up and put on our shoes and go to fun, right? We wake up and put on our shoes and go to work. And it's a big part of our identity. So like when you're at a barbecue and you don't know everybody and you've got your paper plate of food in your left hand and then your Dixie cup of beer or wine or something in your right hand, and then you try and meet these new people, one of the things that we say to break the ice is, what do you do? What's your name? Where do you work? And so it's a big part of our identity. So we want to be proud when we give that response. We want to feel good about ourselves. And since we spend so much time at work, if your work isn't fun, your life isn't fun. If your work is hard, if your work's unhappy, your life ain't happy. Don't kid yourself. And so one of the things that we really focus on here is, since we are going to work and not fun, how do we make work the funnest that it can be or the least painful? And sometimes you've got to do a job that's not your favorite, or you've got an assignment or a customer sticky. That stuff is real and it happens. The attitude that you approach it with is going to create your experience, and the experience that you feel most commonly, that's your life. So we genuinely listen to people. We ask each person often what they like to do here, what's their least favorite, and make sure that they're feeling fulfilled and that there's nothing that's a small rub that they're suffering. We call it a burr under your saddle, that if that could be easily navigated, boy, let's navigate that rascal as soon as possible.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that work should be all work and no fun. I think you need to have some pleasure at work. And if you've got a good boss that, helps make the day for you by, a joke or, some relaxation of some type. I think that makes a good day, makes a good work environment. And being a good leader, I do believe you need to encompass those things. And if you don't have that type of personality, then you shouldn't be a leader.
That's correct. And I believe that, being a leader is not necessarily about how many people follow you. We know lots of really terrible leaders that got a lot of people to follow them. If people are following you, then it's always about you. You might have to go first the first time to show you how to do it, or that it doesn't kill us, or you've never been there before. But after you've gone first a few times, it's time to not make it about how many people follow you and make it about how many leaders you can help create. And so one of the sayings that I've used my whole life is, we don't pass torches. You use your torch to light more torches, because we can all have a torch. We can all take a turn. And if it's always about you, then even if they do follow you, you never get to see what beautiful, neat person, idea, event, extraordinary outcome that they can create. So, and it might be bumpy at first too. And so you got to love them through that, because there's also the vulnerability issue, right? And if you really want to have a relationship with someone, then part of that's safe to be vulnerable, because you know that you are safe. And that's making people feel safe. Boy, we'll do a lot of things for money, Rose. We'll do anything for love.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
You have to sprinkle some of that in.
Oh, I agree. I've worked in some really horrible environments where, I was totally micromanaged, and it's a horrible environment to live in, because you've got no say, you've got no freedom to do anything. And I don't know. I don't think that bosses should be micromanaging their teams anyway. I think people bring things to the table, as you said early on, and they should be allowed to explore those things.
I agree, absolutely. You'll get a better result oftentimes, even if there's some coaching along the way, and they'll sure enjoy it more. Do you want the employee that, swings their feet out of bed and it's a grind to come, or hopefully they're enthused because you're working on something as a team, and they've got a project that they're working on that they're invested in, and they take personal pride in it. Boy, if you get a handful of people truly vested, taking personal pride, Rose, you can build the pyramids.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think that's happened when the pyramids were built, but never mind.
That was a different kind of leadership, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So what can leaders do to foster this type of environment in their workplace?
One of the things that I've found is that people want to feel heard. So sometimes if I've got an issue or something, I don't need it fixed. I don't need it solved, but I want you to know that I'm suffering, or I want you to know how I'm feeling. And so people want to be heard. And so one of the things that you can do is check in with people, and honestly, just checking in with them, asking them how they're doing, asking if you can help them, if you can service. Service-based leadership is the best. It gets you the farthest. That's been my experience. Then just knowing that they're heard, just knowing that they matter. People are actually pretty tough. We're pretty sturdily built creatures. We can weather a lot. If we know that we're heard and that we're important and that we're loved, oh man, that's one really easy way. And again, you don't always have to fix everything. You just have to let them know that you care about it and it's important to you.
Yeah, I had someone on yesterday who had that very same philosophy that people just need to be heard, and they don't want people to fix their issue. They just want someone to listen and perhaps offer, a kind word or, a bit of advice, but they don't actually want you to go and fix it for them, because they just don't need to have it fixed. They just need to know that someone listens to them. They could be just having a whinge.
That's right.
So anyway, off my train of thought then about leadership. Tell me a little bit about the Anthony Robbins Mastery University. Tell me what that's all about.
So Anthony Robbins, one of the most prolific self-help authors, writers, live event coaches on the planet. I think he's probably made more money and touched more lives than any other coach, certainly that I know of. And the journey for me just started as a participant, as a young man that had some dreams crushed and some prizes that I was young and immature. not fully developed to handle or deal with. And my dad loved me, and I was getting a little suicidal, and he scooped me up and he raced me off to a Tony Robbins seminar. Now, this was not one of the big, well-lit, fire-walking, cool ones. This was a chiropractor's office, and he had a projector on the wall, and it was Tony Robbins. And we spent like 3 hours, and it changed my life. It absolutely took me from feeling that I was doomed, those hopeless feelings that we experience, whether they're real or imagined, doesn't matter. Because when you're feeling them, when you're feeling blue, boy, it's real to you. And changed me from that mindset, that attitude, to one that really anything is possible, that you can do, be, have anything. Is it easy? No, it's not easy, but it's not impossible either. And if it was easy, you wouldn't grow, you wouldn't appreciate it. The experience would be different. It was easy. So it being hard, that's part of the fun. And so when I got home, I'm widowed. I married a beautiful young woman that I loved. She left me, unfortunately, in a car accident several decades ago.
Oh, so sorry.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. We're tough. We're tough creatures. I spent a year in a trance, but humans are robust. She had told me at one point that she'd always seen someone in me, that she saw this greatness in there. And through my boozy immaturity, she knew that man resided in there. And after I got home from that seminar, she gave me the warmest compliment I've ever had, and one that I'll hold on to for the rest of my journey as a human. She said, since you've been home and you've been thinking differently, that man that I saw, you've exceeded who I even saw you and thought you could be.
Wow.
And those weren't her exact words, but I got it. Yeah, no, I got it. It changed my life. And so from then on, I just said, well, I want to go to this master university. It's very expensive. Do you want to come? Do you support it? She says, yeah. She says, yes. If it helps you like this, then this money is temporary. The sky's the limit. And I want you happy and I love you happy. So we went, and I graduated from Mastery University. And then I started volunteering and crewing the events. They have a secondary school. It's quite expensive also, called Leadership Academy. And after you graduate from Leadership Academy, you can spend time crewing and doing leadership things with Tony. And I went through all that. So it did several things. I got it for myself. I learned skill sets on how to help create that change in other people. I made this amazing peer group of wonderful people that I spent several years traveling the world with. And then I got opportunity once I came home to create my own business, and then hopefully, right, to put these things that I've learned into practice, not just be a hearer, right, but be a doer, and then build a team. And oftentimes my team has taught me as much as I've taught them, but that's the Tony Robbins part of my journey. And I know that it's impacted me as much or more than anything else I've done in my life, Rose.
Yeah, I think coaches like that inspire others are the way to go, not just the ones that, you sit there for 3 hours and bored to tears. They don't change anything in you. They just talk at you, and it doesn't really achieve anything. Do you think, and I'm going to ask a bit of a personal question if you don't mind, do you think your journey through depression has made you, I guess, more resilient, more open to how you treat others now?
Beyond a doubt. It's made me more vulnerable, and I found that when you can be vulnerable, you're actually more lovable, because people don't always want this strong, stoic leader. They need some of that sometimes to go first and prove it doesn't kill them, but they also want a real person. And the relationship is that give and take. And one of the things that I've learned for myself and my child about depression is sometimes it's not rational. Sometimes to other people looking in, it doesn't seem real, or it seems exaggerated. And boy, none of that matters. When you're feeling it, it's real to you. And if it's real to you, that's your experience. So that kind of goes back to not trying to problem solve it or advice it away. Instead, be open, be listening, engaged in the hearing, and then letting them know that you understand and appreciate their world. Even if you haven't experienced the exact same thing, you know what it is to hurt. You know what it is to feel sad and feel alone. And so yes, suffering crippling depression and some of the things that I've experienced as a human being, I know while very challenging in the moments, make me a better version of me ultimately.
I agree. I've been down that far. There's, a period in my life that I have actually no memory of. I was in that black hole so deep that I don't even remember how I got out of it. So So I can fully understand what that is, and I think it's made me a better person also along my journey, because I can, I guess, empathise with others when they're not feeling the best, and it's made me a more caring person. I think when someone else is there, got it, feeling a bit sad, you tend to listen more closely, I think, if you've experienced it yourself.
Sure, more empathetic. I agree.
Mm. Oh, sorry, we got more on a personal track than on a business track. I do apologise.
It's okay.
So you've got any wise words, BD, about organisational leadership for, our listeners out there? Because I know there's a lot of different theories on it, but, I'd like to listen to yours.
So rather than maybe start at the beginning, I think I would start at the end, and then I would build it backwards. So here's an example. We're going to go back to the barbecue, and you're a little uncertain, and you've got your plate of food, and your Dixie cup of beer or whatever, and you're going to engage this person. And they say, well, what do you do? And you say, well, I work at Static Solar. I want them to go, oh, lucky. Oh, do you love it? Can you get me on? Do you have a space? Do you have something I could do? To have a corporate culture that's so well known as a good place to work that people are proud to say it. Now, if somebody works for you and when they're asked at that, maybe they cringe, or they just say it, that's a different experience than being anxious to say it, being happy to say it. Well, how do you build that culture? It's not easy, but like the other things we talked about, it's not impossible either. It starts from the top down. You identify your business plan, you identify your marketing plan, right? You've got your seats on the bus. So one of the things I do in hiring is, years ago when I was a performance coach, we'd say, find something that you're not good at, find something you don't like to do, and then find the person that's really good at that or really likes to do it. And I would say, yeah, kinda, but if that person's a grump, it only takes one grump in an organization to suck the fun juice and the air right out of a room.
Absolutely. So, I agree with that. Yes.
Right? You get one grump that brings, a challenge from home or a bad attitude to work. And I don't care if you've got 3 or 4 cheerleaders on the team, and I've got an office full of cheerleaders, trust me. One grump can do more to set the tone and the mood for an organization or a room or a group than 3 cheerleaders can. And so rather than just hiring somebody that's good at the job, hire a happy person. Hire someone that forgives freely, that still believes and doesn't doubt, that has that nice, fun, easygoing personality, and then train them to do whatever you need to do, because they're like, we make jokes about the solar installation that it's going to happen. You're going to set your cordless drill down and on a steep roof, and it's going to slide right down the roof at top speed. But where's it going to land? On the windshield of the customer's Lexus, and it's going to go right through onto the front seat, right? That day is coming. So it's not that happened. It's how now we respond to it. It's how we engage the customer with a smile. You're not going to believe it. It was 1 in a million. And you can probably get them to chuckle as they see your drill on the front seat of their Lexus, right? Also, there are things in our job that aren't the funnest. And I've always said this, it is never where you go. It's always who you're with. Here's an example. You could go out to a lovely dinner and dancing, and you're on the beach and the moon is beautiful and the food is delicious. But if that person's a grump, if they find things to complain about, or they complain about the service or send their food back, you go from having maybe the funnest night ever to being embarrassed and can't get out of there fast enough. Conversely, you've got to take a load of sticky stuff to the dump, and it stinks and it's a hot day. But the person you're with, they're a hoot. They're dancing with the broom or making fun, and maybe they open a lawn chair and they got a sixer and they want to shoot cans with a BB gun. Might be the funnest day that you've had. It's not the setting. It's not where you go. It's who you're with. So even if there's a job in the office today or an assignment that we have to do that's more challenging, if you've got a group of people that can make it fun, turn it into a song, or just hate it less, then productivity is going to be up, customer experience is going to be up, and morale is going to be up. And now your people stay. And that's a big thing too, that there is a shortage of really qualified, great, happy people. It sure feels like it. There's a lot of wonderful humans out there, but finding them and getting them into your organization is hard. And you're not going to be able to do it and keep it with just pay or just benefits, because remember, they don't swing their feet out of the bed and go to fun. They go to work. If you can make that a reasonably enjoyable experience, or they get to use the things that they're good at to help everybody get somewhere, you'll weld them to you. And now you've got a ship that's going the same direction. You've got some continuity. You've got some high fives and some cheers. You can do anything you set out to do with that team. I promise it. I know it to be true.
Absolutely. You need to open a school, BD. Train happy people.
Happiness goes a long way, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It certainly does. Where can people find you, BD?
So our website, our company is kind of an interesting name. It's SATIC, SATIC, SATIC. So SATICUSA.com.
Okay, beautiful. And you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and two places, Static Inc. and Static Solar. So yeah, I'll make sure to put those in the comments when I put the recording up. Anyway, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you. You've actually made my day today. You've made me smile. So that's a really good thing.
Thank you. It was very gracious of you to have me on. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you again.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Rose.
Bye.
Bye-bye.